The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges.
Hi, I'm
You
Tom.
can get free shipping
Matty.
on
I'm
all
Lewis.
orders
This
when you
is the
use
Wigan
the
Way,
code
Wigan's
The Wigan
favourite
Way.
rugby league
That's
podcast.
The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
He'll put you in his trap, cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think, cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His mind.
So we're back, lads. It's third season, first episode of the 2025 season, and I think it's fair to say that we've got a little bit of rugby league fever. I can't wait.
It's this week.
Honest-
The first competitive game is this week, we can say that.
Properly been counting it down.
People might be listening to it on the way to the match. Very possible. It's only a few days away.
I can't wait. Pre-season friendlies just don't do it. They don't feel that urge,
They'll
do they?
scratch the itch.
No.
I don't think so. I think with us, we tend to do a couple of things. I think Super League teams sometimes do the same. They put the young kids out. You get a chance to see maybe the talent coming through rather than actual reflection of what your season's going to be like.
Yeah, they're good, and obviously you need them. They are what they are. But
Bit of
first
conditioning.
competitive game. I can't wait for Friday. I've been itching to get there.
Yeah, and it's nice, with it being new ground as well, and it's a bit different with it being a cup game. Part of me thinks we should have done this maybe a few rounds into the season. But I like the fact that we're going to be visiting a new place. We're going to be visiting a place that we're not going to play Sheffield again this year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, really.
I've missed the social aspect of it as well. On the Thursday night break, cut your working week. Thursday night, meet you guys, and go for something to eat, a couple of drinks before it, walk down to the stadium, chat to the people who obviously we're sitting here and stuff like that. You've not seen them in a while, catch up with everybody. Missing the social aspect of it.
Well, this time of year, you're always wondering, I wonder if they've renewed their season tickets, or I wonder if there'll be somebody in that seat. You wait till the first home game to see.
The old fella that sits near you, is he going to be there this time?
Oh, don't make it more.
I hope it's still
I know. Honestly, you can ask me dad. Every time I walk up, we always have a little moment. Been there since 22 years. I've sat next to him.
I sat next to my dad for 20... This is my 22nd year, I think, in my seat.
I just think it's
It's
just so many things to build up
First
to.
game I remember was against Salford.
He's that old guy.
I know, that old guy.
Listen,
It's a valid point.
you sit next to these people, you build a bit of a... You have an unofficial bond with the people that you're sitting near.
Well, what would it be? It would be episode 2 or 3, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
After the league game.
Yeah.
So whichever episode we do.
We'll let you know.
Let the listeners know if you're still there.
Yeah, that's true. They'll want to know.
I hope so. Right, shall we dive into this then, lads? Because 2024, what a season.
Yeah.
Again, doing almost the impossible. No one thought anyone could do this. And Wigan did it. And now we're going to have to back it up with a good 2025 season. So, Lewis, I'm going to throw over to you, mate. Take it away, pal.
Yes, just a little bit of news coming out of the, I suppose, pre-season, if you want to say that, or like over the, what do you want to call this? The quiet time of the year for rugby league. So obviously big news just coming off with Wigan first of all. Biggest piece of news I'd say at the club is Isa hanging up his boots. So yeah, it got announced by the club. I'm guessing everybody who's listening to this now will probably know that this now. Was it announced? Was it a couple of weeks ago?
A couple of weeks ago.
Was that the pre-season gala dinner?
Yeah. So it's been So it's news that's been out there for quite a while, but a bit of a weird one because he did sign a 1-year extension, didn't he? So we thought he might do this year, and then obviously the news come out that he's decided to retire with immediate effect, so we won't see him in the 2025 season. But
Going off that statement, it sounds like there's a very good job opportunity. I don't know what it is.
I think it is within sports, but I'm not sure it's necessarily just marketed to just one sport. I think it's across multiple sports with maybe some sort of clothing brand or agency or something. It's something working with sports people. And if that's what he wants to do, that's a great opportunity for him.
Been a brilliant serve for this club.
Oh,
Signed by Sean Wayne from Widnes, I believe.
Yeah.
We signed him from.
Yeah.
I think was he actually playing centre at that point or second
He
row? I
played
think
in the
was
centre
doing
in the
a bit of both.
NRL. I think he'd gone a little bit more into the second row.
He played at second row for Cass. I think he played at second row for Witness as well. But yeah, he was a fantastic servant for us, and you knew what you were getting with Willie.
Yeah,
Over 200 games, signed in 2016.
Yeah, you know, well, look, Wayne signed him, you know what type of player you're going to get with. If you know, Wayne looks for certain things that have played on it, and I think Willie Ice epitomises it. Tough, never takes a backward step, makes his tackles, very few errors from him. You know, he is a bit
80 minutes every week.
Really, 80 minutes.
7-8 out of 10 every week. He personifies a Wigan signing.
He's a warrior.
So,
That's what we call the team Wigan Warriors. He is a warrior, you know.
I tell you what, if he's going away, and obviously he's going to whatever role he's doing, if he ever wants a job at Wigan, whether that's working in the community, what a guy to have, because
I hope he's not a stranger. I mean, you can't give everybody a backroom role, whatever. But I hope he's not a stranger, whatever he's doing.
Always seems to have the big occasion, Willie, as well, didn't he? Whenever the game got tough or spicy, he was always first one in shooting off
He
line.
raised his game.
Yeah, bigger the occasion, bigger the play, bigger you got.
He raised his game for the big matches, and it's weird to think
because
where he stood for kickoffs was right in front of us.
Yeah,
and you know he's always pawing the ground with his finger.
pulling his shorts a little bit
pulling
too
shots
high.
up a little bit too high.
Thighs.
Missing the thighs.
Missed the thighs.
He's giving you a wave with 4 bent fingers. Yeah, I'm going to miss Willie. I think he's been like a heart and soul of the team for a few years now under Pete, so I'm going to miss him.
You know what I think it is? I think I figured out why. He can't afford for us to win any more finals because he got nowhere to put the match ball.
No space for his match ball. Yeah. No more space, so they've left to buy a big house.
We're wishing the best at the Wigan Way, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Second piece of news coming out to Wigan. So we've got Taki Chab gone on loan to Salford. Maybe a bit of a surprise. I'm not really that shocked by it.
I was surprised it was Salford. I wasn't surprised to see him go.
He went on to Hull FC, didn't he?
Yeah.
Last season, and he isn't really knocking. You'd think you kind of, because he plays back row really, doesn't he? Second row, maybe a bit at 13 or whatever, and you've kind of got a lot of people pushing on with, obviously, Farrell and December are going to start. Walters would be your kind of backup if one of them got injured or whatever. 13s, obviously, you've got Ellis. Even like a Harvey Hill could fit. So I'm not
Luke
really
Thompson
surprised.
can do a role at second
Luke Thompson can do R13 himself, Luke Thompson.
I think the thing about him going to Salford is if you're sending a player on loan to play first team rugby, everyone sort of knows that Salford's squad is a bit thin.
Well, we'll get on to that.
So if you're sending a player anywhere and you want him to play, sending him to a team that's got 24 players rather than 28, for example. And I've just made them numbers up, but
I'm not sure if this has actually happened, but the rumour was about Jack Ormonroy to Cass and getting a figure for Jack Ormonroy, which is good business for Salford. If they can get Chan through the door on loan, they could perhaps get a figure for Jack Ormonroy, and that goes a long way. Cass get a player they need, and I think that could just work for everybody.
I think it works for everybody.
If that happens, I think it works for everybody.
If he can get 20 odd games at Salford,
We can have a look at him and we can see what he's up to, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
That's what the loan system's for,
Yeah,
isn't it? The
exactly.
younger lads who don't get a team, get for go play. Like usually it benefits everybody. Salford at this moment in time, we'll get on to a minute, needs some players.
I don't think
he needs game time.
I don't think he would learn anything playing reserve grade another year.
No.
So he has to be playing Super League.
Yeah.
And it's more. He has to be more settled as well. Like last year, he was at Hull FC. Then he was with us in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, and he was going back to Hull. He needs to be settled. If he's there on season-long loan,
He can still stay where he's living now.
barring an injury crisis, he can stay where he's living now with the people he's living now. He can still have
You can still see Wigan.
Yeah, but he'll be training with Salford and he'll be playing with Salford and he'll know where he's going to be. It's not like a week in, week out where he's wondering what team he's going to be playing for.
Yeah.
The other thing was that when Isa retired, it was Liam Farrell 2 more years on his deal. Liam Farrell's skipper was re-signed for 2 more years. I think he'd made a few noises about maybe playing for another team in Super League and everyone threw up into their collective mouths and all of a sudden a new 2-year deal was announced. So I think that makes sense for Wigan. It makes sense for Liam Farrell to retire a Warrior.
I get Junior December 6 foot 3, whatever he is, ridiculous size, nailing people, knocking people off tackles, big tackles. Sam Walters, similar build, similar whatever. But Liam Farrell is Mr. Consistent.
Oh, yeah.
40 tackles a game, 30, 40 carries, most of them backwards, but still making 10 metres.
He's a club captain for a reason, isn't he?
And I can't remember who I saw the interview with the other day, but talking about him and said, actually, he knows what to say, he's been there and done it, but actually he just leads to example. And if your skipper's making 40 tackles, you've got no excuse. He leads by himself and leads by doing the right thing.
Yeah, with his actions, his nice actions, in other words.
While we're talking about back row, we had a question in this morning on Twitter that was, what do you think we'll do with the Willie Isa quota spot? Because now we've only got 6 quota players. In theory, Isa was going to come off the quota anyway. I think if he had British citizenship, French is eligible to do that as well now. If he wanted to, Field would be next year. I don't know if I would do anything with it.
I think the answer is I think they wait.
Wait and see.
And obviously, we're going to talk about something else in a minute. So it depends how much room there is on the cap. And this is why it does my head in, because the NRL, you can see how much everyone's on, and you can sort of figure out the cap space that everyone's got and who's got room to buy players. And we can't really, unless it's announced.
I think the good thing with Willie was he wasn't on very much money. So I don't think we get an awful lot from...
I think he'd have been on a decent figure.
I don't think he was towards the back end. I think those plus ones he was getting were sort of minimum sort of wages for a rugby league player in Super League. I think he was taking team-friendly deals at that point.
No, and that's fair enough. But obviously, again, Mike Cooper's off the cap.
I think for Farrell to stay for 2 years, he'll not be on a wage increase, will he?
No.
At Farrell's age,
but
he'll
there's a
stay
few
the same
players that
or-
have come off the cap that we weren't really used last year in terms of Cooper, Hampshire.
Chan now will be
Chan
presumably
will
off
be.
the cap, yeah.
And now Isa. And I can't think of anyone we brought in. Obviously, we brought in George Hurst.
Yeah, what contracts have been improved?
In the post-season. Brad O'Neill, but would he have got that much of an increase?
Junior will have got a big increase.
But I think it was already accounted for before Cooper retired.
You never know.
Before Hampshire left.
You never know, do you?
Going back to your quarter spot thing, I think we wait. We don't need to rush it, do we? I don't think we have
No.
to. There's no particular can go, oh my God, we're weak here, we need a signing.
If there was a Salford actual fire sale, I might look at Sam Stone.
If that actually happens.
If
Like,
that
no
ever
one,
happens.
no one's got a clue what's happening.
But again, I wouldn't be disappointed if we didn't. Maybe, a utility forward, sort of in the lines of Chan, who can play anywhere in the forwards, would be nice. Do I think we need him? Not really. Would it be a luxury? Yeah. So do I think we should do it? No, I don't think we should.
I just think it's wait and see. Listen, if you lose 2 centres in the first game of the season, well, we might go out and get a centre.
Yeah.
If you lose,
We don't have to rush with it, do we? That's ours to play, isn't it? We're not in dire need. We're not
is
short.
it 1st of July? You have to register your players by.
Well, yeah. No.
You can make
because we had
signings.
Dupree after that, didn't we? Dupree was the end of July.
I think the 1st of August.
Must be 1st of August because Dupree was...
There's a cut-off point. I mean, if we get to that part of the season and we don't need anyone, then we probably won't sign anyone full stop. Why fix something that doesn't potentially need fixing?
Yeah, just don't rush into something.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Salford there, Matty. Let's kind of move over to them now. So this was kind of basically announced. Well, it's been announced. Everybody knows it, but it was probably best announced by Mark Sneed's Instagram photo where he's put squad photo and it's him sat at the stands of the AJ Bell on his own with his thumb up.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of sums up the position Salford's in at the minute. So financial troubles, to say the least.
Yes.
This is nothing. This is nothing new.
No, they've been struggling.
They've been struggling.
a while, haven't they?
And now, I feel really sorry for Salford fans.
Oh, I do.
Now, we can talk about the amount of fans they get and the income that they bring in. That isn't good enough at the moment, and that has got to improve.
No, but when we've ever been against Salford, we've seen that the fans that they do have are passionate.
Oh, massively.
Good fans, aren't they? Good fans.
Massively. They have got to get that number up. I don't think anyone can deny that. Same with a lot of clubs. Even Wigan should be looking for more fans on a consistent basis. Everyone should be. Unless you're selling out every week. My point being is they raised a lot of money last year to not have to sell anyone.
Yeah.
And then they sold Brody Croft, who did announce on a 7-year deal.
Well,
Before that, they'd sold Tyler Dupree, who they said that they weren't going to sell anyone else. Then the ground thing happened, and I don't know the details, and I'm not an expert, and I can't say I know everything about what's going on. But now, the ground's sort of been sorted, hasn't it, from my understanding?
from an outside perspective, it feels like they're on the world's biggest pendulum swing, and one day they are saved, and there's a new mysterious money man going to come in and save the club, and the next it's dire straits, and every other club's been given permission to basically poach their players, or they've been told to sell players to other clubs, haven't they? But no, it's not happened.
There's been a lot. They've obviously lost players. Ian Blease.
Yeah,
Is it he was in about? I can't remember his actual role was at Salford, but he's gone from
Director.
Yeah, some director of some kind. But obviously, he went to Leeds. So
It was announced
that
that
Rowley was going to do that job next year,
yeah,
and after he'd been coached this year.
the thing that I don't get is the clubs originally had a vote on whether on two things, but it was combined in one. Whether Salford quarter players would if you signed a Salford quarter player, that would not count on your 7 quarter players, and cap dispensation to sign Salford players, and that was voted away.
That voted against.
Voted against.
Yes.
There then was talk about voting on the two issues separately. And from what I understand, the clubs came to meet together. Salford said, we're not coming effectively because we've got a buyer. This was like the Friday a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And that hasn't really materialised. Unless I've missed something. Because I remember seeing a post by the reporter Aaron, I forget his name.
Aaron.
Is it Boyer?
Oh, Aaron Boyer.
Boyer, sorry. And he said that there'd been a delay in it and the clubs at the RFL had been informed. But you've got to throw into the mix all this about they wanted the Super League money early. Mm. The Super League clubs aren't going to vote that in if Salford go bust. And later on, we're going to talk about all the clubs and what we think for them and their season as such. But Super League aren't going to give them a 250 grand advance if they might go bust in 3 weeks' time and this is just kicking it down the can. They can't afford to. No. And when we talk about Salford later, we're going to assume that they stay on and there's no issues in the league and all that malarkey and they're not affected through admin or whatever.
Well, Jaden Nicarima was quoted today as saying, we're going to take the underdogs tag and run with it. Okay. Paul Rowley has got a habit of making chicken salad out of chicken poo, as the saying goes, and I wouldn't bet against him doing the same.
No, for me though, at some point it's got to get to you. It's emotionally draining. Every off season, are we going to have a club? Are we doing whatever? If you're a player at Salford, you might get told that things are fine or whatever, and you're going to have a contract next year. But do you actually know that? Like, if these potential buyers pull out for whatever reason, look at the finances and say we can't afford it, blah blah blah, pull out. You're suddenly back to I might not have a job in 3 weeks' time.
It's an awful predicament, isn't it?
Yeah,
I hope it sorts itself out. 1 for the fans, 2 for Paul Rowley, because like you said, he's been set up to fail season on to motivate that, like you say, to motivate those players.
Yeah.
When they don't even know if they're going to have a job in 12 months, if the club's even going to survive, what the hell's happening? And they're trying to go onto the field with having all that link. And people always go, oh, we don't focus on that, we just do our job on the field. It does.
Well, of course it does.
It weighs on you. You can say what you want in front of the microphones and the cameras, it weighs on you. I'm not having it, doesn't.
Of course it does.
The only thing that I think it can help you is if you sort of play up. If I play well here, let's see who wants to come and pick me up.
Yeah.
If it does go wrong, who's going to pick me up?
I think Rowley's the perfect coach to have his team backs against the wall. Let's all huddle in and let's defend our ground and forget the outside noise. I think Rowley's good at that.
I only do though. I like having a Manchester-based club. I think it's good for the league. And I like Salford. Do you know what I mean? You can put a Salford game on the TV and know you're going to be entertained. They play a good brand of rugby. They beat Sage. They would have beat us last year if it weren't for a Marks Mead short drop. You know what I mean? Like I think they offer. They offer good stuff for the league. So I don't want to see them.
They finished fourth. Yeah, they were good.
I think they offer something to the league. I like them. I hope it sorts itself out.
Best case scenario,
Moneyban comes in this week.
Moneyban comes in, everything's sorted. We forget about it. They actually will make 2 or 3 signings.
I don't think you need to make any signings.
I just
straight
think that-
away, I think they just need to start the season fine and keep all the players they've got, start the season, win a couple of games, and then, get the fans through the door.
Yeah, I'm more meant just to thicken out that squad a little bit and allow for what's going to happen through a season, which is injuries. Worst case scenario is really bad. That they
The
don't finish
worst
the
case
season.
scenario is very, very bad. Yes.
That they don't finish the season, and the problem is now is this money man has been kicked down the road a little bit, and they bought time and whatever. But actually, we're 2 weeks away from the season now. 10 days away from, I think, is it 10 or 11 games from the first Super League game?
It's a week on Thursday, yeah.
So if something happens between then, you can't fix it.
You can't put Bradford in. No, not at this short notice.
It's very tricky, isn't it? Because we've had this conversation before, and we could do a full podcast episode on this, but the game's in a bit of this weird situation here where trying to get investors is incredibly difficult because as much as we love the product, it's not an investable sport, is it? I think there's only ever...
No,
Well-
but if you think about the last few years, Mike Danson's taken over at Wigan.
Yeah.
Hull FC, Castleford have had new owners. There's a couple of teams in the Championship who've
Wakey.
got brand new
Yeah,
owners.
I
Oldham have got
suppose.
new owners.
Yeah.
Wakey got new owners.
Just like you say, when you're struggling to get fans through the door every week,
Yeah.
would you as a businessman want to come in and go into a club and
I
say,
think,
right,
yeah.
we need a load of cash, well, how many fans do you get in? Well, we don't really fill it, we're struggling for income. Like, do you know what I mean? What is appealing there about an investor?
Yeah.
Do you know, to an investor, should I say? Do you know what? And I hope, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, I hope they do find an investor. I hope a money man comes in and said, I really want Salford in this league, but
If the
it's very
rumour of
difficult to see it.
NRL Europe goes ahead, then they're going to want a team in Manchester.
Yeah.
If NRL buys the Super League, they're going to want a team in Manchester.
Yeah.
They might want to
And they
call
want
it-
London in there.
They might want to call it Manchester, but they're going to want a team in Manchester that will be Salford, you would assume.
I think so. Should we move on anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so last couple of pieces of news. Let's go back to Wigan. I should have probably said this before we went to Salford, to be fair, sticking with the Wigan news. It has been announced only, was it today?
This today.
Oh,
Today, so breaking,
3 hours ago.
breaking news. Wigan have made a couple of signings. 2 signings,
Yes.
I believe. They've gone having a look around at our local neighbours.
Yeah.
We've signed 2 young lads from our
Nearest and
neighbours over
dearest.
the hill.
Yeah. Well, not quite nearest anymore because Leah.
Well, yeah, I suppose. but
Yeah.
Yeah, over the hill. So yeah, we've gone to Saints and we've signed
Johnny Vaughan.
Radio X DJ 427 thing, and we have signed. Is it Sambu? Is that who you say?
Yeah.
Or Sambo?
Yeah, there's
I
2
can't remember.
Sambus. We've got the younger one. The older one, did he end up at Cass? There was a winger that was Sambu. He came through at Saints. He might have ended up at Cass, I can't remember. But he might be in the Championship now. I'm just based on where he's playing at the minute. But there's 2 Sambus who are both wingers, and this is the younger brother.
We've got the younger
I
one.
would say this has come because of this is only for the 2026 season. This has come for the change of the rules, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Meaning that players who are off contract can discuss from November 1 the year before.
So Liam Farrell could have been discussing
Yes.
before he signed this extension.
Right, so.
So anyone who's coming off contract at the end of 2025
For example, Adam Kieran.
can be talking to clubs from the 1st of November.
Someone could sign Adam Kieran tomorrow.
But
if we don't.
given that it gives it, I think it's come for the players' union or whatever. It gives you, rather than waiting till July when most squads are already set, it gives you a year to find a club that want you.
Yeah.
You can negotiate and whatever. It gives you a little bit more power as a player. But someone has just sent us, and I'm gonna mention this. Has just sent out. We responded to the tweet about these 2 signings, and someone has just said that. I think this is about Johnny Vaughan.
It is, yes.
Is that proficient at multiple sports, England Academy captain, fittest player at St Helens. I don't know where they've heard that, but I'm not going to complain.
He'll would do well to beat Farrell in the Rio test.
Covering a few positions, he's played second row and centre, and he's currently doing a law degree.
Yeah.
So clearly got his head screwed on. Sounds like a really, really top signing.
Sounds like the next Liam Farrell.
Yeah.
Law degree, fittest player, cover a few positions, England Academy. That sounds like Liam Farrell. The next Liam Farrell. I'm excited. I mean, this is somebody with Super League experience. I know Sambu's
Was it
played
9 games he played?
Sambu's played a couple of games, when they've played the youngsters.
Yeah.
Vaughan played at Magic.
Vaughan played at
Vaughan's
Magic
played a
weekend. Yeah,
couple,
he's played.
people know, yeah.
He's not like a kid. He's played. quite a lot of games, almost as many as Farrimond, I imagine, in Super League.
They relied on him a lot last season, didn't they, when they had the injuries and stuff?
I'd be really worried if I was a Saints fan about.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens to them now. Do they play for St Helens this year? Maybe they're ones who go on loan to Salford to fill out that squad.
Yeah.
Do you play for St Helens for 2025? These lads presumably grown up in the St Helens system. I imagine the St Helens supporters, do they want to give one more year to that club, knowing they're going to be joining Wigan next year? Does Saints even want to develop them further?
I don't want to. The last time this sort of actually affected Wigan was the Mike Cooper signing, where he'd signed for Wigan, and
they said just have him.
Yeah, just have him. And
I think if they were to say just have them, that would be a resignation from St Helens. I don't think they would do that, but I also then think we would immediately have to loan them out somewhere. Our squad's settled.
Yeah.
Our squad's ready.
They're not going to get game time.
Our squad's ready to go. We've got the players in each position. That we probably are seeing this as some replacements for next year. We're not going to be spending much money
if not
next
2
year.
years later.
Yeah, we're not going to be spending much money for 2026. We've spent close to the cap.
I think we're set for, especially the 2025 season, and maybe not even the season after. I think they're thinking. I don't know what Rads is like and how he's been with his yearly plans and having 2, 3, 4, 5 year plans or something like that.
He has got a 4 or 5 year plan.
I think this is one for the future he's seeing. So yeah.
Sometimes the opportunity is too good to pass up.
Yeah.
This might be an opportunity that was too good to pass up. Take these two young lads.
Yeah, well, that's it. You take opportunities when they come, don't you?
If St Helens aren't going to give them enough incentive to stay.
If I was a Saints fan, I'd be really annoyed that we've lost 2 young players that are highly thought of.
Especially when you look at the signing, I thought they were going to, again, we talked about it, and we might talk about this when we go through the tables and stuff in a bit with Saints, but we've always said for the last couple of seasons, really, they're lacking depth, a couple of injuries, and you go into the past 18, into 19s and 20s and up, that they're bringing in people like Johnny Vaughan, do you know what I mean?
Who shouldn't have been playing Super League last year.
No, not. He was too young, but the signings they've gone and got isn't like... They've not really added depth.
Matty Lees looks like he might be off to the NRL, one of the best forwards.
I was going to say, Morgan Knowles is looking like the Dolphins. There's talk from Super League and the NRL for Matty Lees. I forget his name now. Noah Stevens. There's talk about him leaving.
They need to sign Noah Stevens.
Lost a couple as well, Matautia.
Obviously, Delaney's re-signed for him.
Oh yeah, Delaney just signed again.
Matautia went, didn't he? I thought it was a fantastic player for them.
Yes, I think they'll miss Matautia.
Do you know what I mean? They've not really added to it. I mean, we'll talk about this a bit later.
They've made some good signings.
I just want to say while we're talking about this. If they were signing Carl Felt to be a stopgap for 2 years until maybe Sambu was ready, I can actually understand that. I think the Carl Felt at 33, I want to say.
I think he's a good bridge player for the next winger you bring in.
But if he's the next winger and you're losing him...
Well, you'd have to replace Felt in 2 years with another Carl Felt, for example.
To wait for the next young kid to be ready.
Carl Felt is easy to replace. Quarter spot on a bit of money, he'll be easy to replace. The difficult ones to replace, if they do leave, will be Knowles and Lees. Because when Roby finished, they went and got England international Darrell Clark.
They got the best available 9.
The best available 9. He didn't count on the quota. Yeah, he cost a lot of money, but so did Roby, let's be honest. They got Darrell Clark. They actually maybe even got a bit better. You can't do that with everybody. Because you can't pay the best player in every position to come to your club who's not quota trained. You can go and get a Cade Ellis or a Paddy Mago to replace themselves. You know what I mean? You can get the next Cade Ellis if he leaves. If Ensemble leaves, that's a huge, huge task to replace.
That's why the 7 years contract is
such
a big one.
It's so much. If Jake Wardle leaves, he's so much more difficult to replace than Adam Kieran.
Yeah.
With Adam Kieran, you can kind of get the next Adam Kieran.
Yeah.
The next Jake Wardle.
That's a very good point.
Who's going to let him go? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah. Any more news, Lewis?
Last one. Last one I could think of anyway. If you guys can add any more, feel free to add any more. Just one coming out of Leeds pre-season game. The big... one of the big signings. Big signing. Both big metaphorically and
big
literally in
boy.
a sense. Yeah, big winger Mikasivo. Out for the season.
Yes.
In the pre-season. It's been ruled out already. Was it ACL he's done?
Yeah.
Something like that. So very...
I had 2 questions of this because
serious injury.
Me and you, Matty, watched this game here. We couldn't make it to the game.
Yeah, we did watch it.
I didn't get why he flew out the line like to try and nail Bevan French. I was a bit like, oh, it's pre-season, chill out. And then he doesn't get up, and I was a bit. That just screams of a shocking pre-season. And all I thought for him was, I hope it's a Sam Walters 10-weeker, not a season
my
ender.
first thought was that you know when you've not played for a long time and you come back in, you do get a bit of a bang and it's a bit of a shock and you jar your knee or whatever. I thought that was what it was at first, and when the stretcher comes on, he didn't want to go on the stretcher. He might have even made it worse by not wanting to go on the stretcher. He wanted to hobble off, which took ages.
I think at that point you can't make it any worse, can you?
At that point, I knew that was a really, really serious injury, and it's a shame for him. It's a huge shame for Leeds. You never want to see anybody have to miss their debut season in a new competition. There would have been a lot of excitement to watch Sevo. In the brief time we saw him in that match, he looked like a handful.
Yeah.
He's going to be a handful. Whenever he comes back, he'll still be a handful.
He'll be a handful going forward. He's a little bit of a defensive liability.
Yeah, but he's on the wing.
But there's a reason Parramatta are paying him.
There's a
wingers score when he tries, because they might buy wingers, to quote the great Raging Bull Gordon Tallis.
But going back onto it, sorry, there's a reason Parramatta are paying him to not be there.
That contract was an absolute white elephant there, and that was such a terrible, terrible, terrible contract to be in.
They're paying him not to be there.
So go on, explain that for people who don't know what's going on.
So Leeds have signed him for whatever money. He's on marquee money. I think it's 250 grand, I think I've seen reported. Parramatta were paying a large portion of that for the 2 years remaining on Marcus Evo's contract. Now, he signed a 3-year deal with Leeds, so Leeds have effectively got him cheaper for the first 2 of them. So, and I don't know how the third year works. Whether
Leeds are paying him for the third year.
Fully. I don't know if his wage drops.
It's almost like a loan. They're contributing to his...
It's not really like a loan. It's more like
wages,
it's more like a dead... They have it in America a lot of times called dead cap money. It's where your contract is so bad that, say, his contract with Parramatta was 400 grand a year or whatever. It's so bad, you've got to get him off the books. His contract is so bad. And the only way anyone will get him off the books is if you agree to pay some of that contract.
Because Sevo, it feels harsh picking on him. But let's say he's on 400 grand at Parramatta, but $400,000, and we'll talk in dollars just for this. Would you leave if you got a 2-year contract for someone else to go cheaper? Because Leeds aren't going to pay you $400,000. Yeah. So then all of a sudden Leeds say, listen, we can afford 200. You pay the other 200, and it gives you $200,000 for Parramatta to play with.
Yeah. So it still counts on your cap as what's called dead money, which is you are paying for a player that does not play for your team. You do not want to do it. It's very rare. You don't want to do it.
And if you're doing it, I think that says that it's an awful deal.
It's an awful contract.
It's like you've just said you're paying someone to not play for you. That's the literal sense.
And the worst case is when it's in the same division. At least this time he's gone abroad. Because there have been times where, I think Carl Flanagan was paid to play against you. You know what I mean? His team were paying to play against him. So
yeah, that happened when he went to St George.
I think someone paid him to play for St George. I can't remember exactly what time of the year it was, but yeah, when you're paying for somebody else, when you're playing for a player not to play for you, then something's gone wrong with that deal.
But I want to say this, right, and I don't know how I feel on it. I keep changing. His cap money can now be spent on someone else because he's not played official.
Yeah, but Leeds still have to pay his wages.
Leeds still have to pay him, but they've got the money. Leeds, they're a big club financially.
They can't bring anybody quarter in.
They can't bring in a quarter, but they can spend the money that he was on the cap for that season.
Yeah, but who'd you go and get now?
And who's going to want a 1-year contract?
Well, there'll be plenty of players who are desperate for a 1-year contract at Leeds, but I don't know who you would go and get now.
But if you're leaving a club, all top wingers are signed up somewhere, let's be honest. So if you're leaving a club to go to Leeds so they can get a decent cent, you're not going to want to do it for a 1-year deal. I want to leave a 2-year deal somewhere else to sign a 1-year deal at Leeds.
But they're still going into the season with Ash Handley and
Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall as wingers. They're good wingers.
Centres though, Newman and who else will play centre? I think they might keep him Handley at centre and play Riley Lum on the wing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Connor has to play full back.
Yeah, with Lachlan Miller being injured.
Yeah.
So it leaves him in a...
They've got Alfie Edgell as well.
Alfie Edgell, but he's a wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it leaves him in a precarious position.
Maybe they'll sign a full-back then.
Potential go to full back.
Yeah,
goes
Edgel
to
could
centre.
play. Yeah, maybe.
Hanley goes to the wing.
You're asking a lot of Edgel then.
You're messing with your spine though, then, aren't you? As well.
And Jake Connor played all pre-season.
He did. Well, he's better at fullback, isn't he? He's a better fullback.
But do you think they should be able to spend this money?
Yeah. He's not going to play.
Me.
He's not going to play.
So what's
No
if
competitive
he'd done it in game one, first minute of game one? He counts on the cap all season. Am I right in saying that?
I don't know.
First minute of game one.
It can't do.
But you can do it in But he's then played an official game.
There must be something where there
What's the
is something where you can get dispensation. You can get half the wages off in the cap or something like that.
I don't like that because you know it might happen. We're gonna have Brad Singleton, Brad O'Neill, snap his ACL in June.
Yeah.
Can we get dispensation for that to bring someone in? No, we've built our squad ready for it in having Cruz leaving and Tom Forber.
Well, yeah, but you say that, but so far Leeds haven't spent that money. So maybe they did have the squad ready for an injury.
Maybe. I just don't think it should be an option. You go into it. We all know Bevan French has a lot of money. And if he gets injured, yes, I'd love to go and sign someone, but ultimately we've put a lot of money in him and we're taking that risk. Where do you draw the line? Someone misses 20 games, someone misses 15. I don't think that's right, mate. I don't like it.
No, I can see where you're coming from. Suppose it's all the same rules, isn't it? The same way to draw the line. Well, the line is the same for all the teams, so it's one of those. If that's the rule, he did pre-season, they get the money. Well, it happened to us in round one, the first minute of the game.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
No,
could have happened the other way around very easily.
Tough titty, isn't it?
Yeah,
I get it. I just don't think I like it.
That's the
I
question.
know what you mean.
That's the question about whether you go all in, like all in first few pre-season games.
It's gambling, isn't it?
It is a gamble.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble, and they had to.
I'm surprised you don't like it, Dukesy, because you like it.
Little flutter.
You're not against this one.
Yeah, you'd play Mike Casino in the pre-season games.
I just
You're probably still better than bit dog guys. No, but I
That's
get
not-
what you mean. I do get what you mean.
Our friend the sniper, he was betting on Sevo top try score, and he'd had to cash that out.
it's just a weird one.
Yeah, I do get what you mean. Yeah,
What if two players do it?
yeah.
Do you have to sign a like for like replacement, or could you go and buy 5 players of? You know what I mean? I just think it opens
Can of worms.
a kind of worms that could just be avoided. Saying tough, you've submitted your squad, you submitted your cap, whatever. When do you start paying a player from? January 1st?
I don't know when the
November
contract's...
1st,
I imagine it's
Never
November the
decided
1st, yeah.
But Sevo will have already had.
Sevo will have
2-3
probably had
payments.
2 months pay, yeah. Well, he'll still be getting paid. You'll still be getting paid. You
That's
can't
what
not
I
pay
mean,
him.
when you pay him, you must submit your things to the salary cap to say this is that payments.
It's a live cap, remember.
Yeah. No, that's what. Yeah, I don't know.
Live cap.
No, if they sold him, then that's a different matter because you've got him out of your club. But right, I think that wraps up the news.
It does, yeah. That's all the news I had, gents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Sevo recovers
Oh yeah.
and comes back next year, 2026.
Really
You
hope
want to
so.
see that, don't we? He's been, he's an NRL player. You want to go upstairs and coming up to the Super League and adding something to the product, don't you? So yeah, hopefully he recovers and when he comes back, he still can make an impact. But yeah, that's all the
That'll,
news.
Wrap it up, and we'll be back to talk about the league this year. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to have a review of what I predicted 2025 ladder is. We're going to talk about each team a little bit, not go into too much detail, but the reasoning of why we've put these clubs where we think so. We're going to start off with the bottom 3, not to give too any spoilers away to who we think is going to finish near the end. We're going to start off there. So we're going to do the bottom 3. Finishing 12th. We've all predicted this. We've all predicted our own table, so we're going to discuss the differences. We've broken them off into 3 groups. So starting off with the bottom 3, we've all picked Castleford to finish 12th.
Yeah. We have.
I look at the squad and I don't know about you guys, compared to the rest, I just don't think it's as good. I think they've got a couple of good players in Tex Hoy and Liam Horn.
I just look at them and it feels like there's been a lot of rumours with Cass this year, and there's they had to come out and say the article about Sam Wood was AI generated and fake, and it just all feels a bit weird to me.
Yeah.
Like they potted
Wouldn't he get swing by him?
Lingard when he was getting some improvement out
That
of them.
seemed a weird one for me, getting rid of
Yeah.
Lingard. They were doing well. They beat Saints at Saints. He ran a couple of games close against top teams where they used to get like 66 points to 10 blowouts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of it. It was like, it just seemed like
He was improving it with him. It
We
felt
don't know
like.
where Maguire's going to go as a head coach. Time will see. Well, time will only tell.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions about the team we're going to finish. The team we're going to say are bottom two. There's just a lot of question marks, especially coaching.
Coaching wise,
There's been a lot of change.
He has done a long apprenticeship. Maguire's been at Hull KR with
Yeah.
some different coaches. He's been at Cass under some different.
Would you say it's been long?
Maybe
Or would
not
you say
long, but
it's more eventful?
I say eventful, but
It's
he's
been
been under.
eventful.
It's been eventful, but he has
He
been
was-
under some
He was at KR.
experienced coaches, haven't he?
At KR, that fell out. Well, he was at KR under Tony Smith.
Yeah.
Then he was at KR under Willie Peters.
Yeah.
Then he went to Cass before Craig Lingard.
Yeah. With Danny
Was he not then interim when
No,
Craig Lingard...
I think he was favourite for the job.
He was fit for the job. Then Craig Lingard came in, but they kept Maguire as...
It was Andy Lass, wasn't it? Andy Lass was
Yes,
coach.
sorry. So he's had 5 or 6 head coaches that he's worked under. Don't get me wrong, that's going to help him to some respect. He must have even been at KR under... Thingy? They say he was under Tony Smith.
Tony Smith.
Yeah. So he's been...
As a player, though, he was under some
good coaches.
good coaches, yeah.
But very young. Still very young.
Yeah.
Has he done his apprenticeship? Has he done...
I feel like young coaches are in now.
Yeah.
Pete, Burgess, Robinson.
But again, with Pete, you know that he did the apprenticeship. The under-18s, the under-21s, the reserves. Then he went to Sale, then he came back as the reserves. Then he was on the coaching team under Lamb. Burgess finished with the Rabbitohs. He did 4 or 5 years as assistant coach under Wayne Bennett. Then he did a year under JD. So, done a bit of that.
He did show, I think, some good leadership qualities when he was on field. He was always a voice leading his team around the park. He said like he was a big... he seemed like he said the right things at the right times. Obviously, his record speaks for himself in terms of the success he's had in a good Leeds team and being one of the star players in a very good Leeds team. Time will tell, won't it? None of us know. I hope he goes well because I want to see some actual young coaches doing well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Young English coaches as well. You get a job, they don't just give it to someone, an assistant in the NRL, who they fly over. They trust an English coach. And, we need that, I think.
With the experience of things that I've heard of coaching in Super League, the big thing is who's going to be his Danny Maguire, who's going to be his assistant. Because he's been the assistant and he'll run training sessions and he'll have done attacking coordination. Who's going to do that? Because he's got to take on a hell of a lot more now. And I think, I don't know. I just something don't feel right at Castleford and I don't know what it is. We move on though.
Yeah.
11th, we've all picked the same again.
Yeah.
Huddersfield. Yeah. Well, they got beat at the weekend. Was it Oldham they played in the...
Someone like that, wasn't it, I think. Yeah.
They played they've not played a Super League team. They lost 24 points to 6. And Luke Robinson has come out and said, well, my spine was in the stands with me. And I get that. Yeah, they've not played the spine. There was a lot of big names. I'm just getting the squad up here, if you give me a little moment. The squad was pretty full. Dane Gagai, Elliot Wallace, Sam Halsall, Bibby, Carr. The 2 halfbacks are Russian Ward. But then the squad numbers, Rogers, Goulding, Greenwood, Murky, Hewitt, Rushton.
Who were they playing against?
Featherstone.
You can't put too much into the pre-season because they might have rotated all them good players straight away.
They played a lot. Tom Burgess was on the bench and he came on off
You
the
never
bench.
know. You never know with pre-season. I just don't know what to expect from Robinson as coach.
I don't.
And that's why, unfortunately, I've got him so low because I think it's going to be a tough job for him.
I think they've struggled recent years. Huddersfield to do a couple of things. Obviously, coaching-wise, they've struggled. Watson never really took off. He got to the Challenge Cup semi-final. You thought they could bounce from there. Had a good squad on paper, but couldn't really turn it into good team performances and wins. I think they've struggled to keep all the young talent they've had coming through. Ward will come to us. Will Price went over to the NRL. They're the kind of two superstars they
They've
introduced.
lost the young halfback who's gone to
Wakefield.
Wakefield.
He might have come through at Wakefield, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Though I don't signing Tom Burgess. I love seeing a Burgess brother in Super League. You know, a big name. Don't get me wrong, but I think Huddersfield had bigger problems than needing a prop forward. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
I think there was more things that needed doing rather than just go signing a big name and a big prop forward.
Losing Chris Hill's a big one.
Yeah, he's a good player, Chris Hill. And
Eson Masters.
he's not the player he was, but Chris Hill is still a good player in this league. And Isan Masters is a good player in this league. And to lose them both in the same window, it's tricky. And to lose Ollie Russell in the same window.
Do you think they're going to do what Hull KR did with Dane Gagai?
What Hull KR did
With Peter Hiku. They give him the number one, but he's played all his career in the NRL as a centre winger.
I don't think he'll play full back.
He's got the number one this year.
Yeah, but I still don't think he'll play full back. Who will play full back? Lola here, presumably.
I'm assuming he's not playing the halves. It'd be 6 and 7
So-
with the Aussie halfback. His name, Clune.
Yeah, so who playing full back? Maybe it is Gagai.
I just think
He's played there before, but not much.
there's just a lot that could go wrong, and I really do think Luke Robinson could be on the chopping board. Well, you don't like to talk about
Every
it.
coach is going to be on the chopping board, really.
I suppose all coaches would say this at the start, so we're going to say now, but I think it applies more for Robinson just for their last season ended. He needs a good start, doesn't he?
Oh, big
He
time.
needs a good start. He needs to get the fans on side, get the players on side. You don't want to go 3 games, 3 defeats, the fans and the club go. The atmosphere just around the John Smith Stadium is, here we bloody go again. Do you know what I mean? You need to pick the atmosphere up quite quick.
The Gagai, though, by the way, is not Dane Gagai.
Not Dane Gagai, sorry. Jacob Gagai. I just look at the back end of last season. In the last 10 games, I think it was, they won 4. Salford, Castleford twice, and London.
Yeah.
The performances at the back end of last season, losing 66-0 to Warrington, 18-0 to Huddersfield, 60 points to 10 against Salford, even though they beat them earlier on. Battered by a Leeds team. A decent result against us. 28-14 they lost, but taking Huddersfield to 1 point, taking Catalans to 1 point, there's some risky performances, and if it doesn't start well, there's going to be some.
Like you said, Robinson will be in chopping block, and it'll be.
And again, throwing that, let's talk about the stadium that they're looking at moving. Ken Davey wants them out of Huddersfield for basically IMG points.
Yeah, they're going to be moving to... I believe they're going to be moving to Halifax 2026 temporarily while they build a stadium, so-called. Their game against us this year is at Halifax due to...
Is it football?
No, it's a concert, but I can't remember it's Foo Fighters or...
It might be Stereophonics.
Stereophonics, maybe.
So I'm going to Stereophonics at John Smith's Opera.
It might be that then.
It might be that.
That might be
I think
what's
it's
moved.
July time.
Yeah, it is.
To move to the Shea in Halifax because of that concert. And when you're getting turfed out like that for concerts, you know, the old joke is that Man United don't have to change fixtures because Stevie Wonder's playing at Old Trafford or Billy Joel playing at Old Trafford. They don't move fixtures for that. They work around. So if they're not working around you,
You're not serious there, are you?
exactly, and it's expensive for rent
I
there.
think we could do it as well. 'Cause I mean, we say it all every year about Huddersfield and the fandom and stuff, but it is too big for them, isn't it? I don't think it's a good look when it's on TV and it pans to the crowd and there's just empty seats everywhere.
But it's enormous.
Yeah.
That stadium. We went to that stadium, didn't we, for that Australia game in the World
We
Cup.
played Lebanon.
It was like
We were sat at the top of the big. Usually the home
it
end.
was like we were at the top of the beanstalk in Jack and the Beanstalk. It was absolutely enormous.
I'm certain I was getting vertigo. Up there,
It was
mate.
ridiculous when you looked down at the try line to see where Australia were attacking. It made it dizzy because it was so tall. It's too big. It's too
I
too big.
I don't see it. I don't see what's going to happen there. And if this off the field stuff in terms of the stadium and that kicks in, at what point does Ken Davies say, I've had enough? I know he loves Huddersfield,
It does love Huddersfield, yeah.
but at some point he's going to say, I've had enough. And he put a lot of money into that club.
He has, and like you see, like we said it yourself, didn't we? The fandom again going back to investors, and is Ken Dave want to keep putting all this money when he's getting 5,000 turn up every week for watching?
Well, that's the thing about the NRL. If they come in, they say, yes, we want a Manchester club. Are they going to say, yes, we want a Huddersfield club? When you've got Leeds so close, Wakefield so close, Bradford potentially they might want back in.
Yeah.
Are they going to say, yeah, I know it's the birthplace of the game and it's always got a special place, and I think that's why it always has had a Super League licence and all this, but are they going to say, yeah, we need to point to that history and we need a team in Huddersfield, or are they just going to say, actually, we don't need one there. Yeah. We've got one in Leeds, is bigger population, bigger club, everything.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of chances to get it right, haven't they?
It felt like they were getting it right, though, and they were getting closer.
Did they win the league leaders once?
They did win the
What
league
year was
leaders
that now?
once.
That was with Nathan Brown.
Nathan Brown.
We had that.
Danny Brough was in it.
Then they got... So they had that chance there, did they? Had the chance where they got to the Challenge Cup final and didn't kick on under Ian Watson.
Then they got to the Challenge Cup semis the following year.
Yeah.
Lost against Tony Smith's Hull KR. No. No, they got to semi-finals this year. It was this year just gone. We'd lost to Warrington in the semi-final.
Yeah. I can't see it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
10th place. We've all picked the same again for this. The bottom three, we should say, we've all picked the same.
Yeah.
That's unusual for us.
We've gone Hull FC. I just think there's too much change, too much ifs, buts and maybes.
They'll be better than they will, actually, though.
They'll be better, they'll be more competitive. But that's it.
Oh, I know, I'm laughing, but I'm being genuinely serious.
Mick McCarthy's here saying it can.
Yeah.
Just because you can't get worse, does that mean it gets that much better?
I think they've got to...
And you look at the players they've signed. John Rapana to play fullback. Same conversation about...
Good player.
Good player, but he's not...
Played fullback for the entire NRL season last year. And he was fit.
I don't see it. I don't get it. They've gone and got Hardacre. Hardacre will be a clever signing.
Solid.
A solid player.
Holmes.
Ollie Holmes. Ollie Holmes couldn't get in the league side last year.
Asiata.
How many games did he play last year?
Good player. On too much money.
Really good player. Too much money. Not enough games. And you're going... I don't get it. I can't remember their squad off the top of my head, and while we have a chat, I'll have a quick look.
If we want to talk about apprenticeships, though, their head coach has had a serious one.
Yeah.
And he's hardly thought of.
He's been everywhere, hasn't he?
Throw into that with Hull FC losing Abdul already.
That was weird. Do you reckon Cartwright came in and went, he's not for me?
He must do. You look at the squad, and I'm just going to read out the back seven. Jordan Rapana, Harvey Barron, Zach Hardacre, Ed Chamberlain, Tom Briscoe. That's the back five. They've now not got a number 6 because Abdul's left. Aidan Season, number 7, who leads turfed out.
He's the captain.
To the Wooden Spoon winners, West Tigers, who then shipped him out. I think that says enough there.
Lewis, you're not going to say what I think you're going to say. Games aren't one in the back 7. Games are one up front.
Spoken like a true ex-forward.
If they go up front.
SASA. I was impressed with him back end of last year.
He was alright, yeah.
Amir Burrow, Lingy Sow, Jed Cartwright, Jordan Lane, John Asiata.
That's not the worst pack in the league, but that's not terrible.
But let's go on to the bench for 14, 15, 16, 17, obviously. Cade Cust. He's probably got to start at half-back at the moment. Because they haven't...
If Abdul's gone,
He's starting to stand off, yeah. He will, yeah.
Unless they go for, like... Is it Jack Charles who's a half-back as well?
Yeah, young kid.
Ollie Holmes, Yusuf Aydin, Jack Ashworth.
Yeah.
That's not a bench that anyone's worried about. And I'm trying to be honest here. Brad Fash hasn't got a squad number 1 to 17.
No.
Davy Litton, Will Gardner, Lewis Martin. There's a couple of good lads there that I like the look of, and I like both the wingers that played against us. You know, when they came to our place back end of last season.
Barron
and
Martin.
And Martin, I like the look of them both.
I think Litton played fullback.
Yeah, I'm not in particular impressed with the depth. When you look at squad numbers 19, sorry, because they got the 18th man to 30. And so much of the pack depends on SASA and League ASL. And how many games did the League ASL miss last year?
Well, I like some of the pack there, but
I like players in it. I like Asiata.
I think Caesar will be fine.
He can't play 15 games last year though.
No, true.
If one of them picks up a ban,
I think Caesar will be fine. You know, if they go into the season with Cust and Caesar, it's not going to pull up any trees, but it's just fine, isn't it?
It's not going to push top
It's
six.
better than what they had last year.
Yeah, and it's more stable.
Custom seas are miles better
What?
than what they had last year.
When you're saying that, like, it's not going to... I agree with you, it's not going to push the top six. Is top six the goal for Hull FC?
I don't think it can be. I think they've got maybe top six in a few years.
They've got to get better.
I think they need to win the games. They should, so in our table, Huddersfield and Cass. I think they've got to maybe get a couple of results and then maybe it's like a Wakefield or a Salford who you'd expect them to. They're all okay losing to us, losing to Saints.
They've got to beat the teams.
Beat the teams in and around them, I think, and below them. And I think they're competitive in the derby.
If they're hard to beat at home, and they beat those teams below them, like
both Hull teams should make it a fortress. I know they healthcare do with Craven Park, but it's so fair for the, especially like the Lancashire teams have travelled to Hull, the other side of Yorkshire, like the East Yorkshire side. They need to be making that a fortress and a difficult place to go.
It's just
A hard journey.
how can you not be better than 10th with the money that they spend? They spend a lot. How much money is actually hard to get in?
They won 3 games last year. What if I had to press you now? Out of 27, how many games are they going to win?
They'll win more than 3.
I think they'll win
I
6.
just
I think
don't-
they'll win 6 or 7.
Did they only get 3 last year?
3 wins. 6 points. One of them was against London. One against us.
Beat Cass. Beat us, Yeah, I think you're right.
Get a couple of home wins against mid-table sides.
I think they're pushing
yeah.
up to 7 to 10 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good result. 10 wins would be... 20 points, they'd be loving that.
I think so. And like I said, be competitive in the derby. I think would be a big thing.
Yeah.
Because they've just been blown away too long. I'm not going to like what's going on in.
The Abdul loss. I'm sorry, losing Abdul's such a weird one.
It is weird, that.
I just don't get it.
So what happened there? He signed for them, came in, and then he's gone straight away. I think.
Started pre-season, and then just put a statement out saying he's gone.
Before you even played a fixture, even a pre-season fixture.
Yeah. Okay. So no, you said probably coach coming in the season. He doesn't like us. Nothing.
Really?
Strange one.
I'm going to ask something. If any of them are to change anything, FC, Huddersfield and Cass, is there any one of them that you think could push the top 6? I know we've done our table, but who do you think could push the 6?
I don't think any of those two will.
I've got one. I think if Tex Hoy flies and Cass make their pitch like what they used to, where it was stupidly difficult to beat at their pitch, where they knew every inch of it, they rolled teams. It was always muddy. It felt like, and they were hard to beat at home.
I'm going to say who I think will be the key man there. Dejan Arce.
Yeah,
If he can have a season where he dominates field position with his kicking game, I don't know how good of a kicker he is. I don't know much about him. I can't say I watch him every week. But if he can get field position and kick and be that, I do think there's a shortage of good long kickers in Super League.
it's weird. We've picked Cass to finish bottom, and I think there's the most upside and the most to be excited about for a Cass fan. Which is weird because I think they'll be worse than the other two teams, but I think they'll be more fun to watch. And
They could beat someone at home.
Yeah.
And if it just clicks, they could go on a bit of a run.
They'll win more than 3 games. I don't think there'll be anybody cut adrift.
No.
I mean, them 3 might be together, but I don't think anybody will cut adrift.
Right. Any more points on them 3?
No, I think that's it.
Right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about the middle 5. So, thanks for coming back after that little break. We're going to talk about the middle 5 now. I should mention we've obviously split this because we've agreed that the same bottom 3 in different orders, same middle 5 on different orders, and the same
Top 4. Yeah.
top 4. So, in 9th, I've got Wakey. Matty, have you got me?
In 9th, I have also got Wakey.
Lewis?
I went Salford.
Salford. Well, I think it might be worth throwing this in then. Who have you got 8th? I've got Salford in at 8.
Yeah, Salford.
And I've got Wakey.
So
I've just swapped out.
Yeah.
So we're pretty in agreement that Salford and Wakefield will finish around 8 or 9. I think then places can interchange. Depends how Salford injury runs with both teams.
Yeah, still a lot to be
We'll come
decided
into it.
yet with Salford, which we talked about before, isn't there?
I think the only reason I've gone Salford above Wakey first year back in Super League. I know they made some really good signings.
Yeah.
Like the squad. I actually really like the squad. I think it's balanced.
I just think it might take them 10 rounds to get going properly.
Yeah.
After that, they'll be a good side, but I think it just might take 10 rounds for these new signings to get.
I also think potentially they might go the other way, that they might get off to a flyer and then just run out of steam,
Yeah, possible.
potentially, but I'm happy with them. Now, Salford, that. We should mention we're talking about this, saying that we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, no one does, apart from those that are involved. But I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to say that I think they will just miss out on the top 8. I think they've got some quality players.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Nicarima can do with a full pre-season and full,
Yeah, getting used to his team.
Yeah.
Bit of rumours about McDonald training at full-back. Is that possibly to get in Masters and Lafayette?
Yeah. Well, they all three need to play. That's
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Well, so does Brealey.
Yeah.
So there's conversation to be had there. It'll be interesting to see how they line up round 1 if everyone's fit.
Might be. Again, I don't want to kind of keep going back to this, but if they're struggling, if they're losing a lot of players, can't really sign a lot of players, trying to get some people who's playing different positions. If they do pick up an injury, then they've got a little bit of cover or something like that, man.
That's what Joe Shorts might be crucial for them.
Yeah, like that's what the players they need, isn't it? Utility players.
They've obviously lost Oliver Partington this time.
It's a big loss from that, I think.
Big loss, yeah.
So Wakefield, Salford, we're happy to say 8 and 9.
Yeah, around about 8 and 9 for them.
I think that'd be 2 good seasons for them.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if Wakey come up and finish 8th, it'd be almost similar to what Lee did. I know Lee made the 6. Could Wakefield do what Lee did?
Yes, they could finish
Could have made the 6.
Yes, they could finish 6, yeah.
I don't think it's likely, but it's very possible. I actually can't wait to
you're
go.
relying on a couple of other strong teams having a bad season there, aren't you? But strange things have happened.
Right. Going to move on to number 7 now. This is where a few things have started to change between us all.
I think we've all picked a different 7.
In 7, for me, missing out on the top 6, I've got Leeds.
I've got Lee.
And I've got Catalan.
No, okay.
So we have all gone with a different 7.
Well, let's maybe change this up here. It might be easier to say, you two say why you think Leeds get in the top 6. Because I don't think Leeds will make it in the top 6. In fact, we should finish. Let's finish our 5 and 6.
I think Brad Arthur. Would you say Brad Arthur's the reason? I think.
I think so.
So just before we go into then, I've got Catalans finishing 5th, Lee 6th, and Leeds 7. Matthew, you've got as your 5, 6, 7.
Leeds, Catalan.
And I've got Leeds, Catalan, Lee.
Right. You got Leeds finishing 5th, right?
So again, we're all saying 3 teams, just in different orders.
Yeah.
Why have you two got Leeds finishing in the top 6?
Brad Arthur.
Brad Arthur.
And I think Headingley will
Well, let me reverse that. I think Lee will drop down. I think because of the amount they've lost. So I know obviously they've signed a couple as well, but obviously they've lost Aziata, lost Amone, lost Herdacre. They seem to be going through a bit of a transition phase where they're kind of a lot of people have gone and some new faces are coming in. So can they replicate what they've done?
So you've got Lee missing out.
I've got Lee missing out. I think they're missing a couple. Again, if they're a bit like last season, it'll depend. I think if they get a couple of injuries, they might struggle with depth.
Well, I'm going to say why I think Lee make it into the 6.
Yeah.
I think the fullback
Armstrong.
If he gets a full season,
I think Armstrong, if he gets a full season in a team like Lee, at 33-1 for Man Steel,
potential.
Similar odds to Lewis Dodd.
Yeah,
and Paddy Mago.
I just actually think that's a serious shout.
If you want the dark horse,
I like the back 5. I think it's a strong back 5. Darnell McIntosh, Hanley, Tessie New, and Josh Charnley.
Yep,
they will score points for fun.
Absolutely.
O'Brien and Lamb. You know what you're going to get. I think maybe they would have wanted another half back in.
My key is if they can keep Ipape fit.
Penny, Ipape, Robbie Mulhern.
It's a good front row, but if they're fit.
Now, obviously, Frankie Halton and Jack Hughes will be the second rowers. Isaac Leao. I think he's a good replacement for
Yes.
Asiata.
Yeah.
And a player that might carry on improving. I don't know how old he is.
He'll be cheaper than Asiata, won't he?
Yeah.
Who was the second one they lost?
Well, they lost
O'Donnell.
and then
Yeah,
signed,
Kyle O'Donnell. Yeah, he was a
O'Donnell.
good one, wasn't
they signed Ben Condon.
Yeah.
Unfortunate name.
Then they'll let him go straight away.
And they let him go, but that's down to an injury, and apparently there was talk he didn't want to come because of his injury. So I don't know the details there. Owen Trout, I think he's a player who's going to get better again.
Solid player. Solid.
Matt Davis, Brad Dwyer, some very good squad
These
players.
are some good Super League squad depth
I
players.
don't know, have they released the squad numbers this year?
Not sure.
Yeah, they have, sorry. I've just found the full thing there. And I just think there's a little bit there when you go off it. Ben McNamara, a good signing from Hull FC. And I think there's a few players they brought in with a point to prove who were looking for that. Keenan Brand.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if they did make the top 6. It's just on that pre-season prediction set. I think I've gone a little bit lower. I think Leeds, to answer your question, obviously I've missed out Catalan here. I put him at 6, so I'll come back to them. But yeah, I think Brad Arthur, good coach, had a pre-season with him. I think when you do look at the squad, I know the game isn't played on paper, but I do think it looks quite strong. I think the spine especially, with Croft in there, Ackers at 9. I think the back line, the addition of Hall along with Hanley and Newman is going to look good. Connor, you know what you get with Connor, depends when he shows up. If Brad Arthur can get him switched on and focus on his rugby and stop him in this whole Jake the Snake mentality.
He'll be unstoppable. And again,
I hope he does. I
know
know
you've
you've been a serious old school coach. If he comes in and goes, enough of that BS, sort yourself out, get yourself playing good. I've put you in at full back, you can make things happen for us, you're a good player. And if he can respond well to him and he gets him on side, it'll be brilliant.
and I know the whole Jake the Snake thing you just said there, it's the negative of his game, a drawback. It is. But if he's playing well, that's a marketing tool. And he's a player that you can market the game around. Another player that you can market who's a bit of a character. Jake the Snake, he's got a silly nickname. You've got the fans on side already.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people who want to see Jake Connor fail, and there's a lot of people who actually want to see Jake Connor do quite well.
Yeah, listen, it's his last shot.
Absolutely, it's his last
It's
chance.
last chance to the big club, isn't it? I think.
I always sit and I think, and I still think about it, I thought about it 8-9 years ago. The amount of games he wins you, he'll lose you saying with stupid things.
Well, the thing is with me with him is, with Jake Connor, he shows up in the games where it's easy to show up. And no disrespect to any other team in the Super League, but if you're playing a bottom half team, he'll show up and be the best player on field. But it's the challenge for Jake Connor is, you know what, go to Wigan, go to Wire, go to Kerr, go to Saints, and keep up there. Sure that you deserve to be on the same field with Field or with George Williams, and he doesn't. He just goes missing, and you can tell he looks. He doesn't look like he's in the same calibre.
This is the thing going into the season. That if Lockie Miller was fit, I'm going to play the majority of the season, and Jake Connor was your genuine number 18, who'll fill in at full back, fill in at centre, allow Ash Hanley to go on the wing if you pick up an injury there. Good signing. I think we've seen it enough. We've seen it enough that he makes mistakes. I don't want to throw it all on him. I look at the Ryan Hall signing. I don't think it's a bad signing. They should have got him 3 years ago when he came back from the NRL and he ended up going to OKR because Leeds didn't want him. Newman's got a few injuries in him.
Yeah,
there's potential. You've already lost Mike Acevo for the season. Ryan Hall's how old? 34, 35?
Yeah.
Newman's got an injury thing. Ash Hanley's relatively fit. Brodie Croft and Matt Frawley. They haven't really worked in the... Is it a year that they've been there now? Was it 2 years now they've been there?
Croft and Frawley?
Yeah.
It's been 1 year for Croft.
I don't massively rate Leeds' pack. I think they've got some good players in there. Aletsky I really like. I like Ackers. Cam Smith. Back in the last season, Leeds fans were not impressed with Cam Smith. So I don't know if they've got that oomph. But so we go on to Catalan. They're the only one we've not really talked about in this.
Yeah, so I had him 6. Where did you two have Catalan? So
I've got Catalan missing the playoffs in 7th again.
You've got 7.
I think it'll be close, but
I had
You've got him
5th.
5.
Yeah.
I had him 5th. and I just want to read out this side. And there's one question I'm going to throw out there. But a back seven of Tompkins, Makinson, Romano, Remus Smith, Nick Cottridge, Luke Keary, and Artem Org.
He's fine. He's not learned, has he? Games aren't won in the back seven.
No. But there's no outstanding weakness.
We grew up with Catalan having a strong pack. Yeah, they haven't got one.
But listen to Vita Pangai Jr.
Oh, well, he played 15 minutes.
Ben Garcia, Julian Busquets, Tarek Sims, Whitehead.
That's an excellent pack. That's a championship winning pack if the year is 2016. Seriously, those are some really good players, but I hate to say it, the best.
I'm not having Leeds' pack is better than that.
The best years of that pack are well and truly behind them.
Oh yeah,
Chris Saté.
It's still better.
Navarrete.
Is it Saté, Navarrete, Bailey Sheridan, Rouge, Seguier, Desiree, and then Theophage, Firijaha, going into 21-22. I think that's a better squad than Lee and Leeds for depth anyway.
Do you think maybe me and Matthew fell victim of underplaying them because they didn't really impress last season? I think they kind of got off the radar a little bit.
They didn't
where they went from obviously competing with us in a grand final to...
I think the other thing to throw into that is Tompkins doing a pre-season rather than joining mid-season.
I hope he's good again. I hope he's really good.
How much can you rely on him though?
He's unreal.
You can't rely on 27 games.
That's what I'm saying though. How much can you rely on him? I get he's been competing. I want to see him do well, of course. With everyone sat in his tail to see him do well. But can you... He's a 30-odd-year-old guy with a busted knee. If you're saying, yeah, but we need you, I think your team is...
You can say, yeah, we need you for 15 games.
I think his knee's fine.
You can't say, we need you for 27.
I think his knee's fine. I do not think he'd come... After that documentary and seeing it...
That was so gross.
If his knee's that bad, he can't play. I doubt there'd be anyone to insure him if his knee's that bad. But what I'll say is, I think there is an element here that Artem Org will play full back and Faj will play in the halves. In games, they might play Morg as a sub-9, which they used at spells last year. There's rotation there. I think
it's a big year for Artem Morg. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and
he's off to KR, isn't he?
It's a big year for him.
And he's had full KR for next year.
Is that confirmed or rumour?
Sure, it was confirmed.
Big year for him then.
But I just think I think as a squad, the better.
I do want Catalan to come good again because I like McNamara as well. I think what he's done over there for the French game and for Catalan, I think he does deserve a reward at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? But I don't, again, like maybe that, it just didn't really impress last year. They couldn't really get going. They failed to make the trip to Catalan a bit of a hard journey. I hope they do. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they're really competitive. I hope they get up there and start competing with the likes of Wigan Way, KO and Saints again, and they had competition to it.
So if you're
in the past, but I just can't see it based on what I saw last season.
We just talked about the packs there. I'm just looking at Leeds' pack. Aletsky, Ackers, Keenan Palacio, Bentley, James McConnell, Cam Smith. I think that's a fair enough. But the bench: Samuel Sonny, Morgan Gannon, Cooper Jenkins, and then Jake Connor, Tom Hall, Roy Jackson Field as the 18, 19, 20, 21. Alfie Edgall at 21. I don't think that pack is anywhere near as in depth as someone like Catalans. And I'm not saying Roman Navarrete is a world beater, but he's played 150, 200 Super League games.
I think that's the problem. They've all played too many games. They're all a bit past it. I think those Catalan forwards a bit like. I don't
worry about the second rowers. Tarek Sims and Elliot White.
It's just brilliant signings from 7 or 8 years ago, isn't it? That's just what it feels like. I feel like if you built that team 7 years ago, you would be best. Yeah, absolutely.
But I just think
you could have me playing behind that pack and we'd win Super League.
I think the pack. I still think it's better.
Maybe we'll have to see how much these. We'll have to see how much these have got in the tank.
Yeah, time will tell.
If any one of these three, let's pick them three: Catalans, Lee, Leeds. Who do you think any of them could fall off? And we're talking about struggling.
Leeds, a bit like Huddersfield, I said last time, they don't get off to a good start and it was bitter very quickly.
Leeds could fall.
I think
Headingley's going to be on a tipping point
Yeah,
already.
I think Headingley will turn and the crowd will turn and it will become a bit of a toxic atmosphere and it could spiral downhill pretty quickly.
Leeds could turn. Lee, the fans, Lee have got
Lamb's got credit in the bank.
Too much credit in the bank, Lamb.
Steve McNamara's got too much credit in the bank.
I don't know, those French fans are a bit bananas.
True, but he's been back now with a couple of big signings. I think Sam Tompkins and Kiri on their own will win games. Anton Morgan will win a couple of games by himself because he's just got good moments, and they've got the best, most aesthetically pleasing goal kicker.
Oh, absolutely. The most aesthetically pleasing goal kicker is worth at least 2 IMG points.
Oh yeah. I think Leeds. I know I've got them outside of my 7, but if any of them are going to fall off, I think they could fall to 9 or 10 if things get toxic there.
I agree.
Any of them think could really push the top 4? I think Lee will potentially be somewhere between 6 and 4. I think Catalans, if they get it right at home and early and get on a roll early,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can see that happening.
I could see them possibly the ones to push. But I do think they'll finish 5th, and I know you guys have said 6 and 7, vice versa. We'll take a quick break. We're back to talk about the top 4, where all the fun starts and the arguments.
Yes.
Right, at the moment everyone's waiting for the top 4. We've done it this way all the way through, and we'll start off with who we think we've got in 4th, and in 4th I've got Warrington. Lewis, who have you got, mate?
I went Saints in 4th.
Yeah, Saints for me as well, 4th.
Phil Laxey, as I've disagreed, I should justify my point. I don't think Warrington are going to have a bad season. I just think they're going to struggle with Vegas.
They're going to have a bad start.
We got quite, I don't want to say lucky last year. After the World Cup Challenge, we didn't really drop off. And we had a couple of ideal games like Cass, a couple of games like then London, where we could get through them. I think Warrington are going to struggle with that, having to peak early, because they want to win it. Same way that we want to win it, but we've had that experience of peaking and going again. And I don't think we're going to be aiming this as a must-win, where I feel like it's a little bit more important to Warrington. I just think for the games after Vegas, so round 4 to probably round 10 to 12, there may be a little bit of post-trip thing. I think they'll come good in the back end of the season and I'll climb the table. But I think early on they might sit around 7th or 6th and then put some wins back to back at the end of the season that get them into the top 4. That's just my opinion there.
No, I don't think you're really miles off. I think, it's probable, isn't it? You can see it happening. Yeah. It does make logical sense what you say.
I just think when you look at the teams, especially those that have won Challenge Cups recently, you learn how to go again.
Yeah.
Last year, like I said, we got away with that, and then post-Challenge Cup we went to Castleford and just scraped to win at Castleford. So I think the league position may take a hit based off the big press at Vegas.
Yeah.
Why do you two think Saints 4th?
I just think they're going to be... better than those teams we mentioned, more consistent than those teams we mentioned in the second part of this. But they won't have the top-end talent necessarily to break down the 3 teams I've got above them.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. I think Breers is the most important signing for them. I said that at the end of last season, the big thing that could change Saints' fortune this season coming up is the fact Breers, and he might offer them a bit of something in tax. I think that's what they've been missing. They've always had good meter makers getting them downfield. They've always just struggled a bit in the final third since Wolf went out to convert it into points. But I don't know with Saints. It feels like they're trying to do the same thing, which is just rely on your Walmsleys and your... there's only so long you can rely on these players for when they're getting a year older every time. Do you know what I mean?
Breers had a decent job with Brisbane's attack.
Yeah.
We certainly attacked incredibly well in 2022, and that was when we still had Hardacre and Bibby and Cade Custon.
The one thing, this might be weird. I'm going to say I put Saints 3rd. only because of the Warrington thing. Otherwise, I would have had them fourth. If Warrington weren't playing in Vegas, I think I'd have had Wire in third.
Right.
But my one concern with Breeze was the big thing that we noticed, especially in a couple of training sessions we weren't watching, was the ball movement of the props.
Mm.
You know, he had Havard, Partington, not Partington, Shorrocks, Byrne, Ked Ellis getting to the line and playing to each other. The pack's aging, and I don't want to use it for teach an old dog new trick sort of thing, but that's never really been in Walmsley's game. It's never really been in Parzy's game. It's never really been them guys' job. Even Morgan Knowles at 13 isn't a great ball player. I wouldn't say he's a great ball player.
No.
So he might just have to find something different there to get him that.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, yeah, I don't. I don't know, like you're saying, it's that star power and stuff. I know obviously Wellesby's the first name that'll come to your head there, but they've got good players, but we know Percival can pick up an injury. They've signed the new winger.
I don't like the 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, I line on Benison and T. Ritson coming in, aren't they? Obviously, if one of the wingers gets injured, I don't think.
Ben Davis.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't think he plays. He's got the number 3 shirt. I don't think he plays enough games. Percival will probably miss 8 to 10 games. Carl Felt. It's Carl Felt. John Benison.
Don't give him a tackle 5 near your line.
No.
Carl Felt will pluck anything at Sky.
But what I will say, and talking about kicking, can Tristan Saylor game manage? Can he kick long? Because Lewis Todd did an awful lot of their kicking last year.
He got slated.
He got slated.
And I don't know really why.
Well, a bit of it thinks it must have been coached in.
Maybe because he said he was leaving.
Yeah. But who's going to make them kicks from halfway and back? Who's going to be the long kicker? Because I don't think they're going to get as much field position as they normally do when they play Wigan and OKR, because I think the pack's aging. Who's going to kick them out of danger? And I don't know. Has Wellesby got a good boot on him? Lomax has never been a long kicker, really.
No.
So that's actually my... I only just thought of that. I don't think they've got a long kicker.
Yeah.
They've now not necessarily got a goal kicker if Percival's not playing. I don't know what Sailor's like at goal kicking. Benison's not guaranteed a spot in the team.
I mean, Percival is goal kicker away.
They just said about him getting an injury.
Yeah.
So then you start going into that.
Yeah, that's the thing we say at the minute. I don't know, I'm waiting for something new. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like I know a couple of them moved on. I've got a couple of new faces coming in now, I suppose, like you say with Felton Sailor, but I don't know. I feel like they've not really gone through this transition yet. I'm still waiting for more to go and more to come in. Do you know what I mean?
They'll miss Matautia.
I think they'll miss Matautia, and again, I think relying on
as well.
people like Walmsley and Parsy when they're a year older, and it's around the same people.
I'll tell you what, if they start struggling, 1, Wellens will be in trouble if they start off slowly. But 2, they're going to have to sign some people up. Some young talent. I know they've got like...
A couple of good young
What's his name from the Roosters? Who's just come, was at Wakey? Murphy. Where's his long-term position? Wing. Where did he see Benison? Ben Davis. There's nothing there that I'm looking at going, that's a lock-in for 10 years in that position.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Murphy.
It's like that, you got wingers, but you need again. Where's the next? I know they might say Delaney's the obvious answer to this. Your next kind of new prop or whatever.
And Stevens.
I suppose, yeah, I know Stevens, but
he's coming to the end of his
I know,
contract.
but they still see. I know, obviously, they made a bit of an impression last season, but they do still seem like young kids. Do you know what I mean? Delaney, to be fair, should be a regular start. Well, not regular start, but he should get in the 70. Yeah. Noah Stevens. I don't know if you're St Helens and you're winning. If your aim is to go for grand finals and win silverware like it always is for
an
them,
18, 19-year-old lad.
Should your bench props be 18, 19 years? I don't know.
What squad numbers he got? Delaney's 20, 21.
Is he? So he's a little bit older, but
I do like
props,
Delaney.
For props, I do, to be fair. I think he's a good player. But you look at when they had the success under Wolf, they had Walmsley, they had Lees, they had Parsy, they had Matauti, who would just keep on rolling you and rolling you and rolling you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And now it's like, well, we've got Walmsley, we've got Leeds.
I just look
and Noah Stevens.
outside of the 17. So obviously Bell, Whitley, Parsi, and Mbai make up the 14 to 17. Jake Wingfield, Delaney at 19 will play a lot of games. Lewis Murphy 20. Then you're into Noah Stevens at 21. He's a young lad, and they've named a big squad. They've named 35 players. Johnny Vaughan at 24, T. Ritson, Harry Robertson 26. We'll have to pick up an injury there in the 1, 6 and 7. Robertson could be playing 20 games.
Yeah.
I'm concerned. Who have you guys picked third, Lewis?
Wyatt. I've got as number 3.
Matty?
I've got Hull KR.
Right, so I'm going to start with you, Lewis. Why have you got Wire in third? Is it just a simple case of Wigan and Hull KR too strong, or...?
I think, well, spoiler alert, I think Wigan's going to finish top, which I think I don't think spoiler, I think most people have predicted that anyway.
Let's just get that out there.
I think we're all going to think Wigan forgot top. Yeah, I think Hull KR, I think so. I think they've added to the squad again with some good signings. I think they've strengthened where they need to strengthen. I thought the pack was the thing that was weak, and obviously they've brought over Big Jared. So I think they've strengthened in the areas they needed to. I do hope Wire do finish it and still have a good season. One for Sam Burgess, because I feel like he deserves it after the work he's put in, and you can tell he's really invested into and he wants to bring success to the club. And yeah, I don't know. We'll go on to this a little bit. I know we might end up doing a grand final Challenge Cup thing, but I can see why you're doing a top 4 finish. I've put him in at third and possibly getting a good win in the Cup, if not getting a bit of silverware with Challenge Cup.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I've got Hull KR in second. Matty, you've got...
I've got Hull KR third. The main reason for that is I think whoever gets to Wembley might have 5 or 6 weeks after Wembley a bit shaky, and that could cost you, because I think the top 3 are going to be close. So I think whoever gets to Wembley might have a bit of a shaky 5 or 6 weeks.
So you're potentially up for KR and Wire swapping based on Challenge Cup results.
But I think Hull KR will get to the final at Wembley and then have a 5 or 6 shaky weeks maybe after. No, maybe not 5, there might be too many, but 3 or 4 shaky weeks is enough for you to drop from second to third when I think it's going to be so close. Because I think these top 3 teams, in fact I think top 4 teams, they'll all beat each other.
I think everyone's beatable.
And
they'd all fancy themselves at home.
Those top 4 teams will all beat each other.
I've gone Hull KR second. I like some of their improvements.
So who's third for you then, sorry?
Wire.
Sure, yeah, Warrior. Yeah.
Wire in third purely... St Helens in third purely...
So Wire 4th, Saints 3rd, Hull KR 2nd.
Purely because of the Vegas drop-off. I think that might affect them.
Yeah, Saints.
But I'm thinking ahead here, and I'm going to ask a question in a minute. I like the replacements that Hull KR brought in. Tom Davis for Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much like for like, just a younger version. Maybe.
Mickey Mack for Parcell.
That's the one that confuses me. Because I know Parcell started for Hull KR a lot, but I always saw it as Lytton being the steady and Parcell coming and injecting himself into the game. But at the back end of last year, Parcell was probably playing 50, 60 minutes. And Lytton was getting on for 10 and 20 and then doing a bit at 13. And so I'll be really interested to see that, because Mickey can't play 80 anymore.
Do you not think they need a bit of toughness? I think that's what those signings screen to me. I think to want to go one step further and start winning stuff, Jez Lytton, I'm not saying they're not tough guys, but what I mean is like that kind of bit of fear factor. Steel in the middle, a kind of bit of grit, a bit of
if we're coming up
nastiness.
If we're coming up against them in a final, and you're asking me what number 9 don't I want to see?
Mickey
Mack, Matt Parcell, or Jez Lytton. I don't want to see Mickey Mack.
Yeah.
Not being funny. I don't want to see Jared.
No.
I don't want to see Reece Martin.
The
other players they've got, Minchella, Hadley, whatever, yeah, okay, fine. But in a big game, Reece Martin
will be the most important sign.
Mickey
purely
Mack.
for that goal kicking as well.
Yeah.
Jared is Jared, but knowing the RFL, they might be like...
I think this is... Too many people are talking about this now. I bet Jared, that's perfect disciplinary record.
He probably will. He probably will, because he's not got a history over here. But, again, how many minutes is he going to play?
One swinging arm and he'll be out for 3 weeks. You watch on.
But there's always the risk of that. And
you get that with a player like Jared, don't you? You're not going to get him to change.
I wonder whether they've improved the squad depth that much. They've replaced a couple of people. I know Tanganawa's now number 20. I think number 20. I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit better now. I'm gonna say, and I was gonna ask this question earlier on. Looking at them three teams, I'm going to change. I'm going to ask you. All of them.
Wigan Way, KR.
Sorry. I'm going to throw in, just ignoring Wigan for a minute.
Yeah,
KR, Wire, Saints.
KR, I said. Yeah.
I do think there is the potential there for one of them three to fall off and have a poor season. I think Saints could struggle. Yeah, get a couple of injuries again. I don't think the squad's the deepest. I think the new half-back, their outside backs, they're a little bit fragile in my opinion. I look at Warrington, the Vegas issue could cause them a problem. And I'm still not overly made up with the pack. I think they could have tried to take the pack to the next level. The depth of it. I think they could have gone to the next level with that. And okay, what do they do if they lose one of the half-backs? They've lost depth in the centres and the outside backs, losing Corey Hall and Opacek. I know they've replaced Ryan Hall, but them two they've not really replaced, to my understanding.
Broadbent. Did he come in?
So they brought him mid-season, didn't they? It's not like they've because they did that to replace Corey Hall, who went to Cass.
Well, that's what I mean. I think Hall's been replaced. Danny Richardson, isn't it? Danny Richardson's the backup halfback.
Danny Richardson's the backup halfback, and that's a drop-off from May and Lewis.
Yeah, but
I just
backup halfback. He's going to be a drop off.
Yeah, there's going to be a drop off, but I think it's a big drop, and I think so much depends on May and Lewis. I think there's a potential issue there. Last season they got very, very lucky with injuries. I don't think they really had a big one, did they? Bear in mind when you look at this league and we missed field from the Challenge Cup till Catalan away. We lost Bevan French for best part of 8 games.
I think he missed 10 in the league.
Yeah.
Or 8 or 9.
You know what I mean? Harry Smith had a big ban where he missed 4 games. And I'm not including bans, but we've proven we can deal with missing players. We've got the depth in the forwards. I think if they pick up a couple of injuries, there's potential there for a fall off. Yeah. Now, Willie Peters has got enough credit in the bank with all KR fans like. I don't. He can't go. There's not a world that he gets sacked.
I think Craven Park as well. As a fortress.
They're extended it, aren't they?
It did. I know I keep probably saying it every week and it's getting a little bit boring. We keep going on about it all the time. But it's one of those. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Hull KR went unbeaten at home this season. Because I think it must be one of the hardest, if not the hardest, ground to go to. It's a fat drive away for the majority of the teams. It's loud. It's windy as out when you know what I mean? It is just a horrendous. Yeah. It's one of the people we've got to say, Hull KR away, and it will become a.
Yeah, but listen, you sit at the top of the league for a couple of seasons, and teams start going after you. We're going to go to KR and turn them over.
They'll have a target on the backs for sure this year.
There isn't the element.
Warrington will be going there thinking, let's turn these men over.
I think
Saints will be going, let's prove that we can, whatever. Yeah. Wigan will have a point to prove.
I think KR's challenge is the other way. If you want to go and be a big team, we'll go and beat Wigan at Wigan.
Yeah,
go and beat Wire at Wire. Do you know what I mean? I think Hull KR's challenge is the other way. I think they'll be okay at home, but it's like when you're away from one, you've not got Craven Park behind you. Can you still keep up with the big boys?
Here's one I'm going to throw out just while we talk about KR before we go on to Wigan and the awards. This squad that they've built, to me, has the feeling of this is a squad to win next season. Mickey Mack's not going to get any better. Jared's not going to get any better. Reece Martin's not going to get any better. Really, if you look at that squad, who's going to...
It's no one ever.
No one ever.
Maybe the next 2 years, maybe 2026 as well. Mikey Lewis might get a little bit better. But I don't look at anyone else thinking, they're going to massively improve. I should say, we were talking about depth before they brought in Lee Kershaw as well.
Yes.
As an outside back, so a little bit more depth than I thought. But none of the pack is screaming really young.
No.
Yeah. I had this discussion with you, Matty, I think it was, the Jared signing. We brought Brad Singleton in to help mature a young set of props. I'm not comparing Brad Singleton to Jared Murray or Hargreaves, but he's not got anyone to mentor, really. Who you thinking actually going to take him to the next level and make them a better player and protect them for 2 years until we're ready. So I'm just feels a bit now or never. And if you lose a couple of close games and you've got a lot of work to do then.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. I just think they're in a funny position, KR.
Yeah, I do get what you mean with that.
We'll see what they're about the first few games.
Right, we all pick Wigan. 1. And it's going to be a difficult season, this. I think a lot of teams are going to come for us.
Yeah, but you don't need to peak 3 times this season.
No, you only need to peak twice, really. Because we're going to go in to try to win everything.
Yeah.
You can't win all 4 trophies last season and then go, actually, we're only going to focus on 1. So we're going to go for everything.
You're going to have to be judged now, whether you like it or not, based on your performances rather than your trophies, because of how you won every trophy available last season.
Yeah. Who do we think wins it? Grand final.
It's hard to back against Wigan, and even if this weren't a Wigan podcast, I think a lot of people are backing Wigan to win. They've got the best squad. Barring any ridiculous injuries, I think they should be favourites for every game they walk into.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? What
Yeah.
do you think, Liz?
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I think most are going to go Wigan as favourites. Not really lost anybody.
Who do you think gets
Really
the...
changed anybody.
I'll be boring. I like Hull KR to get to the Challenge Cup final and Warrington to get to the Grand Final, but they could be switched. I don't think the same team gets to both.
I agree with you. I'm going to spoil it. I think we can win all 3 trophies. I think that's the only...
I think they win the 2 that matter.
Yeah. But I think that's the aim. I genuinely believe we've got a squad here that is capable of winning every game it goes out in.
It won't do.
It won't do. It won't go undefeated.
Imagine if we did.
Well, that's the only way it gets better.
That's the only way it gets better is an invincible season.
But they're going to target every game. They're going to go for everything. And if that's the case, we're probably the side that's best adapted to win big games. We're the ones that have been there and done it. You talk about Lee. Lee have got this thing against Wigan where they can't beat him at the moment.
That will end.
That will end. But it's more of a mental thing. If you're Hull KR, the 2 semi-finals and the final, you've not beat Wigan yet.
The past couple of years.
Yeah, you just think you've got to... Sorry, the semi-final they beat us in the Challenge Cup. They didn't get there, but then... where they lost to Lee. The playoff semi-final and the Challenge Cup semi-final last year. It's 2 semis that they've lost to Wigan and the final. I just think there might be that mental block. Warrington haven't got one over us yet in a while in big games. So I just think there's going to be a mental block there.
Yeah, it's a good point. I take your point. Yeah, I would, like I said, I would go Wigan to win the Grand. I'd love us to win everything again and win every game we walk into, but again, realistically thinking, I think we'll do the Grand Final. Challenge Cup, just to be a little bit different, I'll go Warrington. I think Sandberg is after us.
It can be anything in the Challenge Cup, can't it? It can be anything.
Yeah.
I'd love to get back to being the Cup Kings, but it could be anything.
Right, I'm going to finish with 2 questions. I'm going to ask you for a Wigan and a League one. Top try scorer. Who's Wigan's top try scorer? I can't think anyone else but Bevan French.
Liam Marshall.
It's one of them 2 in it. Yeah, I'll go Marshall. I feel like he's a winger.
For the league. Who gets the top tries in the league? Non-Wigan.
Charnley. Yeah, and he'll get closer to Ryan Hall. I think he outscores Hall by 10.
Matty Ashton. Sorry, Lewis.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to just go through some different.
We didn't take any time. I'm thinking that.
What were you saying then, Matty?
Hold on. You went for
Josh Charnley.
You
Matty
went
Ashton.
Matt Ashton at Wire.
I can elaborate on Charnley while Lewis is thinking. I just think that they love the right to left shift, don't they? Charnley, wherever he's been, every single season of his career, has scored and been prolific and finished off.
He's always got somewhere between like 15 and 20.
Yeah, he's good at finishing chances, and he'll get a lot of chances of playing on that left wing. I think he's not really had many bad injuries. Touch wood. I think Chandler's a good shout for the top try scorer. I hope he...
I think he'll overtake Ryan Hall.
Eventually, I think he will.
I think he does. It's whether he does it this season, next season.
I think he'll go past Ryan Hall eventually.
Joe Burgess still plays for KR, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does, yeah.
What a good Joe Burgess.
Joe
I'll
Burgess.
think KR player be a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man of Steel?
Man of Steel. Who's your Wigan candidate?
Bevan French is the only Wigan candidate really for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I think it's Jay's going to have something.
I think he'll have a good year, but I don't think he'll be Man of Steel candidate because Bevan does things that catches the eye more. I think if you ask Bevan, he'd probably say it's Jay Field because of how clever he is and how much he organises us, but that doesn't get you Man of Steel.
I think it's his season this year, mate.
Jay?
Yeah.
I'd love it.
I just think last year, obviously, he didn't have the try scoring record that he's had in previous. But
No.
What was it, 19 tries this
He
season?
had so many tries.
Yeah.
And people said he had a bad year.
Just watch the difference in our attack when he's playing and he's not playing. That's all I'll say on whether or not Jay Field had a good season.
But go on, who's your shout
I think...
for the league?
Sorry to go first again, though. I think George Williams will be my shout for Man of Steel. I think if he plays 27 games, he should be the Man of Steel. It's between him, Hummel, Bevan. I'll say Williams is so talented, and also everything that Warrington do that's good runs through him.
I was just going to say, Warrington get points, it's him or Matt Duffy.
That's
If Warrington win, it's him or Matt Duffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, be a bit... I do think, again, Bevan French is best player in the league. Williams, I think, could be a good shout. Again, be a bit different. I'll go Mikey Lewis for a bit of a similar reason. Everything Hull KR
To go back to back.
runs through.
Oh, back to back, yeah. Has
Runs
anyone
through.
done that before?
Mikey Lewis.
There have been people who won it twice. I don't think anyone's ever won it back to back.
I don't think there's ever been a back to back winner. That would be good. So it's a back to back winner.
I'm going to go different from you. I'm going with someone looking at how it
I know
usually works.
who he's going to pick.
I'm going to go full back at Lee.
Oh no, it wasn't that. I thought he was
David
pick,
Armstrong.
I thought he was going to pick Kiri.
No, okay.
I don't think he'll do enough to catch eyes.
Yeah.
I think David Armstrong as an attacking fullback. It was probably they struggled at fullback last year, Moylan with his injuries.
Yeah.
The injuries across the team, and I
thought Moylan was a good player for them last year.
Yeah.
And I was a bit surprised when he retired.
I think he was struggling. There was a couple of games against us at the back end where he looked like
yeah.
he was struggling. I just think if Lee made the 6, I think having a fullback like him, one will free up Lachlan Lamb.
Yeah. I mean, that might split the points with him.
Yeah. But I think it's them two that get points. That's my...
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I think that's a dark horse because obviously Williams and French and Lewis, they'll be the bookies' favourites.
Yeah.
What about Lewis Dodd?
Well, Lewis Dodd's currently 25 to 1, I think.
Yeah.
Patrick Meagh was 35s.
Jack Farriman was 30.
Like, how are they making these odds? How is Jack Farriman 35 to 1? He's going to play 10 games.
When I saw it, I think we had 5 in the top 20.
It's just ridiculous.
We had 5 players at less than 20 to 1, and I went, that's the reason none of them will win it.
And why's Meagh go?
Jay Wardle's quite high as well.
The centre won't win it.
No. Right. That wraps up our pre-season
Yes.
preview. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see a few of you at Sheffield, or if not, first game against Lee.
Yeah. I can't wait.
On the is it the 13th?
A week on Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, a week on Thursday.
It'll be the 13th. Yeah.
Thursday the 13th.
Obviously. Challenge Cup to come up first.
Challenge Cup first.
Got to start off
Friday.
strong though.
Yeah.
And
I
we're
think
back this time next week.
We're treating that as a pre-season game, aren't we? Really, with the in terms of a tune-up, we'll have to play our full squad.
Yeah. Got to win it. Got to
Because
win.
we've got to win. We'll have to play our full squad. And Sheffield gave us a bit of a scare last time.
Really, really important to get off to a...
Yeah, win first game. Then you can't win all the games without winning the first one.
No. You can only win next week. That's all you can do. All right. Lads, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Been
Nice
fun.
to get back together.
Yes, it has.
This time next week that we're reviewing our first game of the season.
There we go.
See you next week. Thank you for listening.
See you all.